Gentlemen and gentlemen, start your engines!
As yet another field in North America's oldest continuous road racing series roars to life, it seems only appropriate that we turn back the clock. We last left our Trans Am coverage 4 weeks ago in the urban sprawl of America's heartland. The challenge, a tight 12-turn temporary course through the streets of Des Moines, Iowa. Although speeds were slow, attrition was high, and assuming the lead meant almost certain disaster. Some drivers couldn't get any brakes. Others didn't use the ones they had. Today, these same Sports Car Club of America stars invade the rural countryside of New York's picturesque Finger Lakes region as the legendary Watkins Glen road course plays host to the 1991 Liquid Tide Trans Am Tour. The essence here is speed, as the 600-horsepower sedans are clocked at over 180 miles per hour down the 5/8 mile back straight. It's fast, it's furious, and it's next. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. We welcome you to the scenic Finger Lakes area of New York, side of historic Watkins Glen Raceway, and scene of today's SCCA Trans Am Liquid Tide event. Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Punch, along with former SCCA Trans Am champion Dorsey Schrader. And Dorsey Trans Am has been coming here with their race car since 1968. But back in the old days with Mark Donahue and Parnelli Jones, Jerry Titus, and the such, strategy was all determined on race day. But here in 1991, that's all figured out on qualifying day.
It is indeed. In fact, this is the fastest racetrack that Trans Am cars ever run on. I sat on the pole here last year at a new track record, new closed course record. That's been broken. I blistered my tires in 10 laps last year. I don't know if they'll make it or not.
Tires will definitely be a factor. Some of the cars up front have gone with the hard compound. George Robinson, freshman that win in Des Moines, has tried the soft tires. We'll see how that'll work later on. But the man who'll have the bird's eye view of lap one, our ESPN Winston Cup analyst and former road race winner, Benny Parsons.
Right, Jerry. I get to watch the cars come down the pit straight into turn one, the slowest part of the racetrack, about 70 miles per hour, but a lot of passing being done here. And if there is contact, it's not much more than a fender bender after turn one through the S's up the back straightaway. And Ned Jarrett, if they crash up in turn 5, it's more than a fender bender, right?
Right, Benny. This is the fastest part of the racetrack. These cars reach 180 miles an hour coming into turn 5, and certainly if they get into trouble, they're going to hit hard. And this has been a trouble spot all week here for Winston Cup cars and about everything that's been on this racetrack, Jerry, so we'll keep an eye on things happening here.
It's going to get exciting out there, Ned and Benny, indeed, as they try to negotiate this 7-turn, 2.428-mile road course. A tremendous Trans Am field on set for this Liquid Tide Trans Am event here at Watkins Glen Raceway. Glad to have you with us for today's Speed World coverage of this Liquid Tide Trans Am event, brought to you by Quaker State. The big Q is One Tough Motor Oil. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by McDonald's, getting more for your money. That's McDonald's today. We'll be back with the start of this 42-lap Trans Am event here from the very demanding Watkins Glen Racecourse after this word. Don't go away, back in a minute.
It's one of the most technologically advanced, most rigorously tested fluids on Earth, relentlessly measured for maximum protection against the friction, the wear and tear, the heat and stress of today's engines. It is today's Quaker State. In Europe, in Japan, in America, Quaker State quality has passed the most demanding tests automakers can throw at it. At Quaker State, we don't just say we're tough, we're tested tough. The big Q is One Tough Motor Oil.
One manufacturer has more NASCAR victories than anyone. More NHRA Pro Stock victories than anyone. More consecutive IMSA GTO victories at Daytona than anyone. And more off-road victories in the last 5 years than anyone. That manufacturer is Ford. No wonder nobody enjoys the weekend like Ford.
Around the world, around the year, Speed World brings you over 1 million miles of award-winning coverage. Today, we're in Watkins Glen, New York. getting set for exciting Trans Am racing action. Let's take a look at our Sears Die-Hard starting grid. Up front, it's the Buzz McCall racing tandem of Scott Sharp and Jack Baldwin. Those two cars on the front row for the third time in 1991. Back to row 2, Scott Pruitt making his first Trans Am start, coming back where he was a champion in '87. Beside him, teammate today, Oldsmobile driver Darren Brasfield. Row 3, Oldsmobile car owner Paul Gentilossi. Beside him, another Oldsmobile driver, 4 in a row, that's Irv Hare. Back to row 4, Ford driver Ron Fellows had a good run here a year ago, and Les Lindley, the veteran, 50 years of age, and coming off a great run in Des Moines. Row 5, the Des Moines winner, George Robinson, picking up win number 1, and the only lady in the field, Deborah Gregg. Lou Gelati making only his third Trans Am start, and a veteran 45-year-old Greg Pickett outside of row 6. As you look at the rest of our starting lineup here today, a stellar field of Trans Am cars, and of course, I'm Jerry Punch along with Dorsey Schrader coming up out of his Winston Cup car to join us here in the tower. As you notice, we have Benny Parsons out in turn 1 calling the action, and Ned Jarrett up at the end, up in turn 5, that treacherous spot on the racetrack, that hard right-hand downhill turn. Getting set for the green flag now. 7 turns. This field will make that hard right-hand turn out of turn 7. It will come beneath the Winston Bridge and head for the green flag, held by Mike Jennings. Green flag waves, the field hustles toward turn 1.
Here they're coming down in turn 1, and Scott Sharp has the lead. Baldwin is being challenged for second spot. Scott Pruitt takes over the second spot going off turn 1. Meanwhile, cars jockeying back in the field. So far, so good. Everyone makes it through this corner clean. And I'm telling you, Scott Sharp is like a rocket ship up through the S's, down the back straightaway towards Ned Jarrett.
It is hard to believe that one car could have gotten that much lead in such a short period of time. Boy, his car is really getting through the S's, but a lot of action back behind him. Now they're beginning to sort themselves out. Jack Baldwin trying to make it 3 abreast coming in there. Well, he got back in the hole before he got into turn 7. He knew that he didn't need to be 3 wide coming into that turn.
They come down to turn 5 and up the short chute toward turn 6. That's the hard left-hander. And Dorsey Scott Sharp has really pulled away to quite a margin as they shuffle it up back in the pack.
That's an amazing lead that he's opened up in just half a lap already. He's got a huge lead there. I don't know if, in fact, something happened behind him that slowed the rest of the pack up, but Scott's got clear running in front of him.
Field coming at you right out of turn 7. There's the differential looking at from turn 1. There's the second place car. That is Paul Gentilossi in the Olivetti-sponsored Oldsmobile. Baldwin back in third. It's a Skoll car. Another Oldsmobile back in 4th and 5th.
Well, we already had the car 20 in the pits. That's Lou Gelati, who has come in for what they think is a fouled spark plug.
Gelati from nearby Geneva, New York, grew up just 40 miles from here. Now lives in Dallas, Texas, having a tough break early on here. Field winding their way through the S's.
We got Jim Durhogg just come into the pits as well. I think he's cut a tire down already.
Now the move for second spot up near Ned Jarrett.
Jack Baldwin on the inside trying to take it over, but he has to back off, Jerry, going into the turn as the car number 7 of Paul Gentilossi cut him off.
There's Jim Durhogg, 116 consecutive starts here, the most of any Trans Am Series competitor, having his tough day. And Baldwin getting a lot of work there from an Oldsmobile in front and an Oldsmobile behind him. He's the lone Chevrolet. Right behind him is the car number 5. That's Darren Brasfield.
You know, you got to wonder how hard do these guys want to run this early in the race. If they don't have a caution, this might be an incredible pace that Scott Sharp is setting here. I see Ron Fellows with a big slide coming off that turn 7.
Am I correct in saying that they don't plan to make pit stops during this race?
That is correct. They hope to go the whole thing green without a stop. Tires is the big concern.
Now we're watching our laser speed gun coming into turn 5. Now that was after they started braking. Actually, before they start braking, they're nearing 180 miles an hour. So by the way, this speed gun is eye safe, so don't have to worry about it getting in the driver's eyes. So in case you ever come into that door, so you don't have to worry about that coming into this turn.
That's good. I don't want to know how fast we're going.
There's Scott Sharp as he's now beginning to move in on the Lou Gelati car, who made that unscheduled pit stop early on. Sharp, the differential now 5.5 seconds back to him and the second place car of Paul Gentilozzi.
Jerry, this is unbelievable just how far he has driven away from the field. You know, Dorsey, he might be able to take it easy and save his tires because these fellows just can't keep up, it doesn't seem.
You're absolutely right. There's no pressure where he's running right now. He can run very smoothly and stay out of trouble until he gets into lap traffic. He's in good shape there.
Now teammate Jack Baldwin has taken the second spot away. Ron Fellows, who had a good run here a year ago, driving a former Jack Roush. Actually, this is a Jack Roush Ford Mustang. He finished third here a year ago and looked like he was going to have a good run here, and he did. There's Scott Pruitt in the car number 15. That's a year-old Oldsmobile. They're single file at over 175 miles per hour, headed downhill in turn 5. We're in the early laps here of the Liquid Ties Trans Am Tour from Watkins Glen, New York. Glad to have you with us. Lots of racing left. Don't go away.
American Express now gives you an easy way to apply for membership. All you have to do is call.
Can I apply for the card over the phone?
Yes, you can. All I'll need is some information.
Great.
For those who qualify, the card comes with a world of privileges. Privileges that give you an extra measure of financial flexibility.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Then we'll take it.
Privileges that extend the free repair period offered under most manufacturers' warranties. Privileges that include help when you need it.
American Express, I lost my wallet, my cash, and all my cards.
We can have another card for you by tomorrow. American Express?
To apply, simply call 1-800-THE-CARD. We'll take your application over the phone and start processing it right away.
That was so easy. Thank you. Thank you for calling American Express. On the card, sir?
No need to wrap it.
Membership has its privileges, so call 1-800-THE-CARD now.
The Mets' Howard Johnson is locked in a tight battle for the National League home run crown. All-star Ryne Sandberg leads the Cubs as they try to make up ground in the NL East. The Mets meet the Cubs live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Last year, every single race in the World Sports Car Championship was won on Goodyear Eagle tires, including 8 of the 9 championship races won by Mercedes-Benz. The World Championship-winning Mercedes-Benz team uses Goodyear Eagle radials exclusively. And their winning performance is just one of the reasons we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
The total number of cheese puffs that you've eaten during championship wrestling and church picnics would add up to one profound puff. But you still wouldn't have a taste as big as these little Gino's pizza rolls. A tremendous taste of zesty pizza and a hot little bite-sized snack. A taste so big, it makes cheese puffs seem a little flat. Gino's Pizza Rolls, the pizza way to snack.
This is Bob Jenkins back live at Watkins Glen International, where the Budweiser of the Glen Winston Cup race has been red flagged at the end of 6 laps. The reason is a crash that occurred in turn number 5 involving J.D. McDuffie and Jimmy Means. There is J.D.'s car sliding off the track with a wheel already off of the car. It makes a hard contact with the wall and then flips upside down. Meanwhile, Jimmy Means comes along and also hits the tire barrier, but his car does not overturn. More on the situation at turn 5 from Ned Jarrett.
Bob, they have removed J.D. McDuffie from his car and have taken him by ambulance away from the crash scene. Of course, we talked to Jimmy Means a little bit earlier. He had some bruises, but apparently okay. And you can see them now. They're loading Jimmy Means' Alka-Seltzer Pontiac onto a flatbed. They've already taken J.D. McDuffie's car away from the scene. Now, there will be quite a bit of work to be done to the fence here before we can resume racing.
And we have no official word at this moment from NASCAR on the condition of J.D. McDuffie. When we get it, we will pass it along to you. We anticipate it will be at least another 30 minutes before we can restart this race. They're going to have to fix this wall there in turn number 5 before we get back to action. In the meantime, we return to yesterday's Trans Am race from here at Watkins Glen. Back in Watkins Glen, New York, Scott Sharp still showing the way with Jack Baldwin in second spot, but there has been some shuffling back in the field. There is Sharp the leader, Baldwin in the Skold Chevrolet in second. Back in third, one of the Oldsmobiles. The cars now winding their way through the S's up, down out of turn 5. Debris there out of turn 6, Dorsey. A couple of cars having come together.
Yeah, a couple of cars indeed. We look at Greg Pickett's car sitting there. That car is heavily damaged. And there's pieces of car laying all over the racetrack out there. Here we see what's happened. There is, in fact, Ron Fellows moving underneath Paul Gentilozzi. Heavy braking here. Either Gentilozzi doesn't see him. He puts him up over the curb. They touch. And around goes Gentilozzi. Now, Fellows doing a good job to stay out of trouble. He moves back in right in front of Greg Pickett, and they hit right there.
Looked like Pickett was trying to avoid him, and Pickett got clipped by another car, and his car slid across into Gentilozzi. Look one more time from our turn 7 camera. A 7-car Gentilozzi. Now they crowd in there and watch for Pickett's car to spin and get tagged here just to the right of the screen. As these cars now move out, and you see Paul Gentilozzi trying to get his car refired, and there is Pickett's car, what's left of Pickett's Chevrolet Camaro, with the front end partially sheared away.
Pickett's car is parked. The other two, Gentilozzi and Ron Fellows, both have come to the pits already and had that damage repaired. It looks like Greg Pickett's day is done.
Well, a full course yellow here at Watkins Glen for heavy contact up out of turn 6. Lots of green flag racing yet to come. Don't go away.
Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? So where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Today is a beautiful day. You have 3 beautiful children. They look like you, but they're going to be doctors. Can your life get any better? Yes, because you're going to McDonald's to get real values at unreal prices. Only 59 cents for a regular hamburger, 69-cent cheeseburger, 99-cent chicken fajitas, and great deals on Happy Meals. You save money. You're smart, but your children, they're geniuses. Yes, life is good, and at these prices, it only gets better at McDonald's today.
Live, Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. The place where fighters have stepped into the ring as unknown, made the right connection, and emerged as champions.
You gotta knock him off the win system, all right?
Sean O'Sullivan, the Olympic medalist, battles Kevin Killer Watts. Plus, Poison Junior Jones, a top-ranked contender, puts his undefeated record on the line against Ramon Solis. Top Rank Boxing, Thursday night, live on ESPN.
We welcome you back to Watkins Glen, New York, our SCCA Liquid Tide Trans Am coverage. We're still working the first caution flag of the day because of this incident up in turn 6 involving the Olivelli car of Paul Gentilozzi and Ron Fellows in the Ford. They were battling for third spot, Dorsey.
This is a real hard racetrack to pass on. If you can't get it done cleanly at the end of the straightaways, these are the chances you take trying to pass in a very tight corner. Paul either didn't see the car there or he wasn't wanting him to get by, and they touched, and that triggered this whole event.
And Ron Fellows has taken his Ford Mustang, the Roush Racing McKenzie-sponsored Ford, to pit road, and we are being told down there that they have a possibly bent tie rod from our pit reporter, John Kernan, and that will significantly affect the point standings because he was involved, as was Greg Pickett, and they are currently 4th and 5th in the SCCA Liquid Tide Trans Am points. So that could certainly change today. Pickett's car looks to be terminal. He was the heaviest of the 3 cars involved. The front of that car nearly sheared away. This is the accident site. They're coming up through turn 6, getting set for a restart. A pair of Chevrolets up front. That's the American Equipment Racing team owned by Buzz McCall with Scotty Sharp, the young 23-year-old driver from East Norwalk, Connecticut. The green flag flies once again, and Sharp will lead Baldwin, the veteran, to turn 1.
Don't you know, Scott Sharp hated to see the caution flag. Oh, here comes Pruitt on the inside. He gets by Lindley, takes over that 4 spot. But such a lead that Scott Sharp had. Ooh, and now these fellows are trying to get off the corner, and Lindley loses 2 or 3 spots. But Scott Sharp had a big lead, and now it's all gone away.
And that's Jimmy Stevens, who just got by Lindley, and he's the youngest driver in this entire field, still going to college in Michigan.
Jim Stevens has come all the way from 15th spot, and he's trying to make a move now. And Scott Pruitt, the former series champion. Stevens really impressing some folks here. 21 years of age, and then he's making a move up in front of you.
Yes, he is, and a good move, Jerry. He might be able to make it, but car number 55 is going very wide coming around the turn. That's Sobey.
Well, I tell you, Pruitt ran him right down into the grass there, and that's surprising. Jim Stevens still good battle for first, second, third, actually. And we see a lead changes. Jack Baldwin just goes under Scott Sharp. Sharp now under heavy pressure from the 5 car, Darren Brassfield. And here he goes.
Gotta wonder if Sharp may have used his tires up or maybe his brakes up early on as he gets past now for a second spot. He loses 2 spots in the side of about 100 yards on the speedway.
And here comes Pruitt to the outside again, going down to Benny.
And here, Jack Bowen comes in the corner, Darren Brassfield, and Scott Sharp is back to 5th place, loses 4th off turn 1. And the 8 car, Lindley, is going inside because evidently something is bad wrong with Scott Sharp's Duracell Camaro.
Certainly, Benny, he is not showing the form that he showed a little bit earlier. You wonder if he might have a tire going down or something of that nature, or at least it probably feels that way to him as they come into turn 5. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan. Maybe he has more on that.
Well, it appears not to be a problem. Actually, what they said is he's just slowed down because it's a long race. Scott's going to conserve his tires. And that's the strategy right now. They showed what they could do in the early laps when he pulled out to that big lead. So he's just going to sit back and ride for a while.
Boy, at this racetrack, as hard as it is to pass, I don't know if I can conserve my way back to 5th or 6th place if I was in that.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Dorsey. That's too far back to conserve. Ooh, a little bit of back in. Watch Paul Gentilosi's door, Dorsey, as he comes off turn 1. The door starts flapping in the breeze, going down towards turn 2, the beginning of the S's, and the door says, goodbye, Paul.
And there's your classic blow your doors off situation.
Now, of course, that's not sheet metal. That's the new Kevlar and fiberglass combination. These bodies are Kevlar and fiberglass, unlike the Winston Cup cars, which have sheet metal surrounding the chassis.
Well, Mr. Gentilozzi will have a nice cool day.
There's the car number 5. That's Darren Brassfield, 27-year-old driver. And here's the car number 7 of Paul Gentilozzi. He owns the Rocket Sports Oldsmobile team, which has 4 cars entered here, and they take the windshield out and replace the windshield and try and replace some of that composite body components there. Aerodynamics pretty important here at speeds of over 175 miles an hour.
You see Scott Pruitt now starting to make a move, trying to catch Darren Brassfield, and it looks like, in fact, that Jack Baldwin is content to sit and watch those guys do that.
Say, Dorsey, if you had seen that 5 car last night, you'd never believe that he'd be out leading this race. Darren Brassfield crashed up in turns 5 and 6 last night, between 6 and 7 actually, and knocked the complete front end off the car. You have never seen so much damage, and he's out leading the race today. So my hat's off to his crew for such a wonderful job getting the car back on the racetrack.
Well, we see Jim Stevens take over now, I guess, 3rd place away from Jack Baldwin, and that is a really strong run for that young man.
Indeed, Jim Stevens is a senior in college. Young man. He's run here before. He finished 3rd at Daytona in the 24 hours, running a car for Jack Roush.
And they built this car in Roush's shop with a little help from some of their friends. They've been there every night working on this car themselves and done a real good job in restoring an older Trans Am car and making it a competitive new model.
Only his 2nd start in 1991. He finished 11th up at Cleveland.
It concerns me a little bit that these guys that are so good, like Jack Baldwin here, are dropping back. I'm starting to suspect these guys...
And here's trouble coming into turn 5. Car number 19, Steve Salim, got tangled with someone coming down the straightaway, and he's on the inside guardrail coming into the turn. He's out of the groove. In fact, he's off of the racetrack, and you can see the caution being waved as the other cars come by. Of course, this happened far behind the leaders.
Got a little fire in the tailpipe there we're seeing. That's unburnt fuel.
Let's take a look and see what happened again. Dorsey up in toward turn 5 in front of Ned Jarrett. That's what's left of Steve Saline's Mustang.
Well, we see him coming down in the draft here. I haven't seen Saline yet. Get in trouble. Here he goes. He tries to go. Ooh, he just misjudged that. He tries to go inside and clips that car, and boy, he is hit hard. There's the windshield falling out there. Part of the under tray. And he's going to hit again, it looks like.
Now, he had started back in 27th spot by virtue of having a rear end problem prior to qualifying. Didn't get a chance to qualify in the first session, so they had some rear end parts overnighted here at Watkins Glen. Started back in 27th and was making his move toward the front, and apparently that one little miscue cost him some problems. And just a moment ago, following the Steve Saline incident, let's take a look down toward turn 6.
Here we go again. That's Bruce Nesbitt in the green car. The 39 car rides up over the top of it, and that can happen because of these fiberglass bodies. If you hit it, the fiberglass distorts, and the two wheels got together and launched that car.
That's Craig Schaefer, the Somerset, Pennsylvania driver. Craig, a CPA by trade, running infrequently in the Trans Am Series, and the full course yellow now being displayed for the two incidents. Steve Saline up toward turn 5, and then that shunt a minute ago down toward turn 6 by Craig Schaefer. For the car number 5, Darren Brasfield being shown as your leader here at Watkins Glen, showing caution for the second time today. More after this.
There's some tire companies would love you to believe they're really involved in big-time racing. But let me tell you something. There's only one tire company with the knowledge and commitment to make tires for our kind of racing. That company's name's Goodyear, and there ain't no one can tell you different.
The only tires in IndyCar racing have Goodyear written all over them.
Ford trucks.
The first vehicle Henry Ford sold was not a cart. It was a truck. Our full-size pickups were first with rear anti-lock brakes, first with electronic overdrive transmission, first with push-button four-wheel drive. Now, what does all this get you? It gets you number one. And if you keep doing it, you stay number one.
More people are driving the best-built, best-selling American trucks than ever before.
Brett Bodine, one tough driver, talks about Quaker State, one tough motor oil.
At North Wilkesboro, that Carolina asphalt was hot enough to fry our King Racing Buick. Our engine was running hot, 240 degrees, and I had to keep pushing it over 8,000 RPM. Now that's when you start worrying about your oil's viscosity breaking down. But when the going got tough, the same Quaker State you can buy right off the shelf was tough enough to get me to the finish line first.
Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
This Labor Day, find a Budman inside packages of Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry Draft.
You big lug. Could have had a brand spanking new raft. Shins up, men. Here comes a winner. Yowza.
Hey, you could win one of thousands of prizes, including sailboats.
That one really hurt. Give me 3. Heads up, man. Somebody just nabbed your 12-pack. What? Wait for me!
Man. Back live at Watkins Glen International Raceway in the Budweiser at the Glen. The red flag remains out here while they repair the fence in turn number 5. This was the scene of the crash on lap number 6 of the race. That eliminated J.D. McDuffie and Jimmy Means from the competition. Jimmy Means is okay. We have no official word yet on the condition of J.D. McDuffie. Let's return now to yesterday's Trans Am race here at the Glen.
Welcome you back to Watkins Glen, New York, under caution for the second time today by virtue of 2 incidents on the track. The first one up toward turn 5 as we watch the car number 19 of Steve Saline get behind a car, and he gets out of shape, and Dorsey, it's no control of it now.
No, he just misjudged to pull out of the draft. He clipped the back of the other car. That just sent him into the spin, and you're doing 175 miles an hour right there. Those 2 cars going through the frame right now, they're also about to have an incident of their own as they get to the bottom of the hill.
That is Craig Schaefer and Bruce Nesbitt. Nesbitt, one of the veteran drivers. This was coming up toward turn 6 now in the middle of your screen. You see Schaefer's red car climb over the rear of Nesbitt. Schaefer,
that does happen, actually. He's lucky he didn't hit him there right again. The 2 tires got together, and that launched the 39 car up and over the top of Bruce Nesbitt.
Field now behind the Ford pace truck. The Ford F-150 pace truck here pacing the field for the second time today.
You see those guys scrubbing those tires. As they drive around here, they actually pick up the bits of rubber that have been discarded off the other tires, and if they don't do that, they'll have a car that will not turn at the end of the straightaway, and then they'll go down there and see Benny.
Just one lap. We definitely don't want to see him come down here, especially on green flag racing.
That's right, Benny. Just one lap away from halfway as 20 of the 42 laps have been completed. We still have 27 cars on the lead lap. We might make mention, of course, that both Scott Sharp and Jack Baldwin, the early leaders and the cars that sat on the front row, have dropped back to 4th and 7th respectively. So they have dropped back, and the word we've got from pit road was that they were going to try to cool their tires and not use them up. And talking about using up tires, you know exactly how that works, right, Dorsey?
You do. In fact, you blister these tires, and what happens, you get rows of blisters on the tires, and you have the risk of a puncture, or if it doesn't puncture, the car just slips and slides away there. And I think you're seeing some real strategy here with these real fast guys in the front dropping back to maintain some tires. We get ready for the green. Darren Braswell accelerates, and you can look for Scott Pruitt to try and get around.
Real slow start as Mike Jennings waves the green flag, and we'll see what Pruitt can do with him in turn 1.
Pruitt's trying to outbrake him, but can't quite make it. Brasfield holds him off. They go through turn 1, no problem. Meanwhile, these pulsers, Scott Sharp is all the way back in, I guess, that 6th spot.
Well, you can look for more fireworks toward you, Ned, because Scott Pruitt wants to get this lead. He's a very aggressive driver by nature, and he's trying to get around Brasfield.
Brasfield has been really bringing that car hard into turn 5, but the car seems to work well once he gets in there. We'll see what kind of speed he's running as he starts to brake coming into this turn. As Dorsey said, they get up to about 175 as they approach the turn. I guess our gun didn't work that time, but I missed it. Now they're around 41 miles an hour in the middle of that turn.
That third-place car is Jim Stevens in the Ford that was put together at Jack Roush's shop. He is doing an outstanding job for himself. He only runs a few races in a year.
Indeed, the young 21-year-old senior at Western Michigan, majoring in accounting, doing a good job as the cars rumble by our cave cam there up toward turn 6. Getting an up-close view of some of the finest road racing machines in America. Coming out of turn 7, we'll see once again as Darren Brasfield now tries to hold off Pruitt on the outside. They're headed for Benny Parsons.
This is not going to work, or is it? They are side by side as they come off the corner. No, and Scott Pruitt gets over on the rumble strip, has to back off the throttle.
Jimmy Stevens takes advantage of that and looks inside on Pruitt.
I tell you, Dorsey, what a move that was. Scott Pruitt to go on the outside in turn 1. Pretty heady move.
Yeah, Brasfield's doing a little bit of mirror drive and didn't give him the opportunity to go to the inside, and Scott says, well, we're working on the outside then.
Wait a minute, fellas. Here they come trying 3 abreast down this straightaway as Baldwin gets on the inside. He and Stevens touch, but they get on through the turn to get single file. Boy, that could have been exciting there for a moment.
Gotta wonder if Jack Baldwin decided to turn up the wick a little bit. He moved to the inside of the lesser experienced driver, used his experience over the years, 43 years of age, and now Baldwin, there's a couple of Oldsmobiles, then a Chevrolet, and a Ford, the front 4 cars.
Lucky boys there, I tell you, you don't want to be touching up there in the braking zone at 170 miles an hour. That's kick rushing inside. It's a no-win situation in both if you don't get it right.
Cars coming at you now to turn 7. Remember, Scotty Sharp had the strong hand early on, pulled away to a 5-second lead, and now has backed off the throttle. You see him at the very top of the screen there. There is Darren Brasfield, the leader. Scott Pruitt in 2nd spot. Baldwin is 3rd. Behind him, the young man in the Ford machine, Stevens. Then comes Les Lindley and Sharp.
I believe all the top running cars up here are all the big V8s, and that V8 torque gets you up that hill, and that's a big advantage on the 6. And there goes, looks like Pruitt's in trouble as he is just getting blown away. He's pulled off to the outside, coming up toward you, Ned.
Yeah, there's something much bad wrong with his car now. He keeps it down on the inside coming into this turn, so looks like he does have some sort of problem.
He might have just simply missed his 5th gear up there, because it looks like the car's back up to speed now.
Yeah, it does look like he's picked back up and is running as fast as everyone else. So, well, fortunately, he did pull it out of the way if he did miss his hit or something.
And Scott Sharp now is pressuring that car.
Dorsey, I was talking about him a moment ago, and Darren Brasfield crashed his car yesterday. I was down looking at the car. That's a V6 in that Oldsmobile. That's in front right now. So, pretty good run for the V6. That's a Buick V6 that they have in the car.
Well, he's got a 50-pound weight brake, so he can run maybe a little bit harder than the V8 car.
He's of course, of the 4 Oldsmobiles in the field, there was only one V8 in that Rocket Sports team, and that was the Scott Pruitt car. The V6 is, of course, of Gentilozzi, Irv Hare, and our leader, Darren Brassfield.
Looks like Jack Baldwin has got impatient with riding around at the back because he is now pressuring for the lead, and I think you're going to see that Skoll bandit. And here is Ron Fellows with no front end back in.
Car not running up to steam. There's the Neo Life Oldsmobile of Darren Brassfield. The Skoll colors behind him of Jack Baldwin. Liquid Tide, Trans Am racing at its finest here from Watkins Glen, New York. Glad to have you with us just past the halfway point here. Lots of exciting action early on as they make their way now up toward turn 6, and we'll see if Baldwin can make the move.
Boy, a lot of racing action back there at 4th or 5th place. That was Les Lindley taking it in. Here we got a big slide on the 01 car, and Lindley's going to repass that, headed down toward Benny, I believe.
They're coming down towards me, and they're fanning out a couple of breaths back there. You're right. I think right now Baldwin is just going to sit there and ride for a little bit and let Brassfield use up his tires if he will.
The 01 car is Steve Petty.
That's Steve Petty from San Raymond, California, one of the leading Rookie of the Year contenders. Had a great run at Cleveland, finishing 5th, and had a tough week at Des Moines with a lot of problems. Back with more from Watkins Glen after this.
If you can't wait, you need the News Weekly of Motoring, Auto Week. If you can't wait for driving impressions, get Auto Week. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. If you can't wait for car news, get Auto Week. Auto Week covers it all. The great old cars, the auto shows. Auto Week's columnists are controversial and fast. And if you can't wait for racing news, get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week races to bring you the winningest coverage first. If you can't wait, get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Kelly LeBrock reveals the essence of man.
Hard to define, easy to know. It's in the way he holds a drink, the way he wears his clothes, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he smiles, looks, and kisses. And when he holds you close, it's in the way he smells. Brute, the essence of man. Come on, put it on.
When you play the game, you're looking good. That's a Bud Light way that understood.
When you're looking good, you want Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up and never let you down.
You can taste it, you can feel it. You know you got it right. Everything else is just the light. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Everything else is just the light. You got the shine on. Everything else is just
This is Bob Jenkins back live at Watkins Glen, New York. There is the scene as repairs to the guardrail continue in turn number 5 caused by this accident. That's J.D. McDuffie's black car sliding across the grass, hitting the guardrail and the tire barrier very hard and overturning, and then Jimmy Means also involved in the crash. Jimmy Means is okay. There is no official word from NASCAR yet on the condition of J.D. McDuffie. When we get it, we'll come back and update you, and we will be back for the start of this race when it's restarted. But as you can see, there's a lot of repair work that has to be done in turn number 5. Let's go back to yesterday's Trans Am race here at Watkins Glen.
Back in Watkins Glen, New York, as Jack Baldwin has pushed the Chevy V8 past and trouble down in turn 5. Ned Jarrett.
That's down in turn 1. Car 65, the Mustang, trying to get by the leader. Jim Stevens was trying to take over the second spot. He was on the inside of Brassfield. He was trying to get going. Now he can't spin the car around in the grass. He's going over the ripple strips back on the racetrack. He was trying to take over that second spot and got in about 10 car lengths over his head, down through the grass he went.
Let's take a look again, and I'll see if I can count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was turn 1, Benny. Thank you very much. And Jim Stevens, who had a good run going. Again, Dorsey, he had his hands full.
Yeah, here you see him. He moves inside. That part's good, but he's in too deep, and he turns in way too early. Now he's got it locked up. He's in the grass. No saving this deal at all. He's going to go right across the racetrack. Very lucky guy that he didn't get down there in the guardrail.
Once again, only his second Trans Am race of 1991. He's had some pretty good runs in IMSA competition, finishing third and fourth at Daytona in the past 2 years in 24 hours.
You can see now, fellas, Scott Sharp is beginning to rumble again now. Maybe he figures he's far enough along in the race that he wants to get aggressive again. Car number 33 back up to third.
Boy, the Buzz McCall team has been really, really impressive. Those two cars, you know, to be able to sit back like this and come back up through the field, they have to be awfully confident in the machine they're driving.
Indeed they are, and of course these are Bob Riley chassis. Bob Riley and Mark Scott have put these chassis underneath the two cars of Jack Baldwin and Scott Sharp, and they worked so well at Des Moines. They had mechanical troubles, and as did Scott Sharp, and now one car making a move looks like Les Lindley.
Les Lindley, in fact, going around Scott Pruitt. This is one of the best runs that we've seen Lindley have all this year. We've got 3 abreast now coming down, and that doesn't usually work. That's George Robinson getting underneath the car.
Yep. Hare backed off and let him get on through. That was turn 5 they were coming into.
George Robinson, who won at Des Moines, Iowa, picking up his first Trans Am win. 74 Hunting Ranch Chevrolet Camaro. Now, he's on soft tires. He went with the soft 430s on the right side, so the question is whether he can make it all the way, but the car holding up very well right now.
We saw Irv take a complimentary look to the inside, but thought better about doing that. That's where we've seen all the accidents up in that corner.
Leader coming at you there toward turn 1. There you see George Robinson trying to hold off Irv Hare. Chevrolet and Oldsmobile. Jack Baldwin now makes his way through some traffic up in the S's.
And that was nice, actually, of the 48 car to move out of the way of the leaders, because in the S's there, it's hard enough to get through there by yourself, much less side by side with the back one.
Hard to believe as many good runs as Jack Baldwin has had over the years in Trans Am racing. He has never won. He finished second a number of times. In fact, he finished third and second in the last 2 outings, but he has yet to go to victory lane. While teammate Scott Sharp, you see coming there in the Duracell Chevrolet, has 2 wins in 1991, had a win last year up at Detroit, so he has 3 career Trans Am wins.
Scott Sharp really closing the gap now. It looks like it's time for him to make his move on Brassfield. He wants to get up there with his teammate. Back to the lead of this race.
27 laps complete. It'll be 28 this time by of a 42-lap event. Just 102 miles. There are no planned pit stops here. There are certain Trans Am events that require pit stops. This isn't one of them.
And we see Ron Fellows waving the lead guys by. That's a good gesture, too. That looks like a super modified car. That's what's left of the Roush Mustang after the front end's run away.
So we're guaranteed a first-time winner here at Watkins Glen, no matter who takes the checkered flag first in Trans Am racing. And certainly Jack Baldwin would like to get that first visit to victory lane in Trans Am competition. The 1990 Rookie of the Year at the age of 42.
Scott Sharp is having some problems getting around that lap car, the car of Ron Fellows, so that's going to give him a little bit of an advantage. The first 2 is going to have a little bit of an advantage.
Let's see how fast Baldwin is running. We picked him up at 140, plus there's 154 as he started into that turn. Of course, he had already braked down some before he got to that speed.
And Jack Baldwin had been clocked at 182 miles per hour during his qualifying effort yesterday down the back straight. So he was really, that's about 7 miles an hour quicker than some of the Winston Cup cars are running.
1,000 pounds less weight on them in the added tire and so forth. These cars are very fast.
Here's some trouble in turn 5.
That's Jimmy Stevens' car, who's just hit the tire wall very hard.
Yes, he did. He hit with the right side, Dorsey, away from the driver, but he hit those tires. He lost it coming into the turn. I don't know, the car just didn't act like it wanted to turn when he came in there.
Tough break for Jimmy Stevens, a 21-year-old driver, just getting his feet wet in Trans Am competition. Let's look again, Ned.
Okay, he's following a car coming down into the turn. You can see some of the parts of the body hanging off over there, and he went to the inside, then to the outside, and I think he locked his brakes right there. He did as he tried to get into that turn, and round he went.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little impatient. He tried to get around that car on both sides, And he did pretty much the same thing he did down by Benny. He got in there with way too much speed, turned in, and the car just got out from under him.
Well, they're not quite sure what the problem might be. They've had a communications problem. Rod Poole, the crew chief here in the pit, said they are having trouble hearing Jim on the radio, so they don't know. They couldn't communicate back and forth to see if he might have had a tire going down or if the tires had just burned up. So that's why he had stayed out on the racetrack. They said the only way that he would pit to come in, and this was just moments before the crash, is if he thought the tires needed to be changed. Well, obviously something did happen out there on the track, but he is out of the car and he does look to be okay.
Well, it's good to see him running along like that. That tells us that he's not injured, and I was a little concerned about that, because hitting sideways like that is a really hard impact on him.
Dorsey, I'm sorry, Jerry, but don't you know, Dorsey, that he was more scared trying to run over to behind that guardrail than he was in the race car, because he was exposed. All those cars coming at him at 180 miles per hour, and he's running to get behind the guardrail.
Yeah, you're always safest to stay inside that race car after you've had an incident like that until somebody comes and gets you out of there, because you're almost vulnerable. You can't outrun a 180-mile-an-hour car.
Unfortunately, he is okay. We have another car spinning. That's Bruce Nesbitt. The unique color scheme there. They kid Bruce about that being the flying watermelon. Of course, that color scheme pretty popular here in Trans Am racing. 50 years of age from Chicago, Illinois, his Chevrolet Camaro. And there is a caution there where that car has wound its way off of the course. Laps are winding down here at Watkins Glen, New York, in the Liquid Tide Trans Am Tour Racing. More to come when we come back to the Finger Lakes area of New York after this.
If you added up all the potato chips you've eaten during poker nights and playoff games, you'd end up with some serious spuds. But you still wouldn't have a taste as big as these little Gino's pizza rolls. Ooh, a tremendous taste of zesty pizza and a hot little bite-sized snack. A taste so big, it makes ordinary chips seem like small potatoes. Gino's Pizza Rolls, the pizza way to snack.
Hey, little brother, you've got to get wise to money.
Get more for your money at McDonald's. A regular hamburger is just 59 cents. A cheeseburger, 69 cents.
A penny saved is a penny earned, and that's why you have to pinch it.
For breakfast, a sausage biscuit is 79 cents.
Get good stuff at a good price, because money doesn't grow on trees.
And the breakfast burrito or chicken fajita, only 99 cents each.
When you get to be my age, you'll understand.
More for your money. That's McDonald's today.
Back live at Watkins Glen, we're getting closer to the restart of the Budweiser the Glen Winston Cup race, but repairs are still being made at the scene of the crash in turn number 5. The drivers involved, J.D. McDuffie and Jimmy Means. Jimmy Means is okay. NASCAR has not given us any word as to the condition of J.D. McDuffie. When we get it, we'll bring it to you, and when this race restarts, we'll be back, of course, with that. But right now, let's continue to enjoy the Trans Am race from yesterday here at the Glen.
Getting set for what should be a 4-lap shootout, a trophy dash on a 2.428-mile road course. Glad to have you with us here in Watkins Glen, New York for SCCA Trans Am racing action. A minute ago, we said that we thought they were holding the restart because Jack Baldwin was bringing them down too slow. That was not the case. Our apologies to Jack Baldwin. They had a car off the course, car number 50, Bruce Nesbitt. That was the reason for the extra laps. But now we do have a green flag from Mike Jennings, and they will shuffle big time down toward turn 1. They go 3 wide.
The Scott Sharp on the inside. He takes over second spot from Brassfield, and here comes Les Lindley on the outside of Brassfield, takes over third spot. Meanwhile, our leader is still Jack Baldwin.
Boy, they got that sorted out. I don't know how they did, but they're going to go up to S's, and it's going to come to you, Ned, and it's going to be big when it gets there.
Well, you wonder how much the car number 33 of Scott Sharp has left. He dropped back, but now's the time to go if he does have anything left. Baldwin, of course, would like to win that first race, but he's got his hands full coming into turn 5. Sharp moves around him and just makes it look easy. Boy, he had some power coming up that hill.
Talk about strong, boy. I mean, he put the pedal to the metal, and he's just driving away.
And the Duracell colors, once again, at the point of the field. He sat on the pole here, just like the start of the race. He moved away, then backed off to save his tires, and now moves back around with just 3 laps to go this time by.
Les Lindley there in third place. This is the best run I've seen in 2 or 3 years now. He has never won a Trans Am race, and he's been a contender for a long time, so he's pushing really hard.
That's the car number 8 of Les Lindley there. 50 years of age from Anaheim, California. Finished third, actually, in Des Moines, Iowa. Started shotgun on the field after having an engine trouble. And now Scott Sharp pulling away out of turn 1 in front of you, Benny.
It looks like the start all over again. Scott Sharp on the very first lap of the race pulled away. He's doing exactly the same thing. Already has 15 car lengths on his teammate, Jack Baldwin.
Peter, that took a lot of discipline on his part to drop back in the field. As Dorsey pointed out, it's tough to pass on this racetrack, but evidently he did have that confidence in the car, and he just dropped back there, bided his time, but when the time came to go, he pushed the button, and it responded, and here he is, pulling away.
I'm very impressed by two things. The fact that he was able to do it, and the fact that Dorsey Schrader knew he was going to do it.
Well, it was a good guess. I'll just take credit for a good guess. Oh, we see Jack Baldwin drop a wheel off. Good fight for third place. Brasfield trying to get around Lindley. I'd look for fireworks to happen in that deal.
Once again, our cam up out of turn 6 as you see Scott Sharp and Baldwin. Out of turn 7. Darren Brasfield trying to take his pick and maybe sneak around Les Lindley down in turn 1, but they're still single file.
They are single file. There's just 2 laps to go, Jerry, so no one's going to catch Scott Sharp if something doesn't happen to his car. Meanwhile, the battle is for third spot between Brasfield and Les Lindley.
You know, you see those guys running up over those bumps, and you got to watch that, because if you get the car sideways on top, it can shoot right across the road using that guardrail on the other side. Also, it's an easy way to break a suspension or cut a tire down. So, but you know, these guys got 2 laps to go. They don't care. They're going for it.
And Ned, I know you've got the speed gun down there, but take a listen to this. Last time by, now we are 40 laps into the race, about to complete 41 laps, and last time by, Scott Sharp ran a lap at 125.4 miles per hour, almost close to his qualifying speed, which was a track record.
Which meant he had to go over 180 probably coming into this turn 5, Jerry. Yeah, he's really motoring on.
They're dicing it for position now down out of turn 5, headed for turn 6. Good battle back in the pack there.
Randy Ruhlman really putting some heavy pressure on him. He's trying for a pass right now, but doesn't get it done.
That's R.J. Valentine in the car number 54, Dick Valentine, his Mobil 1 Chevy Camaro. Now the race for second heating up a little bit. Jack Baldwin, Les Lindley, and of course, right there is Darren Brasfield as Scott Sharp has said see you the final lap here at Watkins Glen.
Well, it all has to happen in about 3 or 4 more corners for him. We'll see who's got what. You can see Jack Baldwin trying to break the draft as he goes up toward Ned.
Well, certainly, Scott Sharp has no problems, and Baldwin did get into the corner good here, Dorsey, and has a good line off of that corner. He's going to be tough to pass.
He's had Scott Pruitt pulling the pits in the meantime with an overheated engine.
And here's a car spinning out. It's the car number 7 in turn 5. That's Paul Gentilozzi, but he's out of harm's way. He's down on the inside. I say out of harm's way. He pulls right out in front of another car, but everything okay, and back to the lead there.
Out of turn 7, and they're really dicing it up for third spot as Brasfield and Lindley. The checkered flag, meanwhile, will go to Scott Sharp with Jack Baldwin finishing second. And it looks like that Les Lindley will hold on in front of Darren Brasfield. And there's a happy young man inside that Chevrolet Camaro, the Duracell-sponsored car. Buzz McCall, the car owner. And here's the car number 21 that was off course just moments ago.
Boy, this is the best finish for Les Lindley in a long, long time. This is a great showing by the 50-year-old Les Lindley.
That was Bob Patch, who is driving that car number 21. That's the Wayne Akers owned car, and Patch normally drives a Corvette with fluid engine. And take a look, he had some pretty hard contact there in what looked like turn 6.
Yeah, he did indeed. He tried to get 2 cars where one would fit only, and got into that guardrail hard.
Well, Scott Sharp, a 23-year-old driver from East Norwalk, Connecticut, picks up win number 3 in 1991. We'll hear from him when we come back after this.
Don't wait. Get the News Weekly of Motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Back live once again at Watkins Glen, and you can see repairs are still being made to the guardrail in turn number 5, the scene of a crash involving J.D. McDuffie and Jimmy Means. I know you're all anxiously awaiting word on the condition of J.D. McDuffie. We have heard nothing from NASCAR as to his condition. He was removed, of course, from the car and taken in an ambulance away from the scene of the crash. So here is the final segment now, that Trans Am race yesterday. Then we'll be back to update you further from Watkins Glen.
As always, exciting SCCA Trans Am racing action wherever they go, and particularly on the road course here at Watkins Glen, New York, as Scott Sharp has picked up win number 3 in 1991. Hope you've enjoyed today's Speed World coverage of the SCCA Trans Am cars, brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Goodyear, the choice of more racing champions than any other make of tire. And by Quaker State, the big Q is one tough motor oil. We told you it was competitive, and how hard were they racing? Well, they were over the ripple strip from that last lap, and we're going to show you a bird's eye view or a K view. Watch Darren Brasfield come right over our camera position in turn 6 underneath the ripple strips. And another hard charger standing by in victory lane with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, Scott showed us how hard he could charge out, and then, Scott, you backed it off in the mid-stage of this race. A little bit of strategy.
Well, I really got lucky at the start. I don't know, I guess a bunch of the guys, they all got together and let me have a big lead. And I said, I'm just going to cruise from here and let them work their tires, get back to me. And then I let Jack by, and Darren wanted by real bad next to Andy. Like 4 guys went by me, and I was like, wasn't too happy sitting back in 6th, but I figured it was all right to just ride along there. And as long as cautions ever, but once we got back going, I sort of knew what I had to do, and I figured if I could get Darren, get a good run on Darren, get him at the start, and maybe draft off Jack and get by him, I'd leave them to play with each other, and I guess that's what happened.
So it was just a draft that you were allowed you to pull past Jack down here after the start?
Basically, yeah. Coming up the back straightaway, I was just able to suck right in underneath them and go down. I just have to say thanks to Chevrolet and Duracell. They've just allowing me to do this is great. The guys have done an incredible job to get the cars this fast, and I just have to thank God for watching over to me today. It was quite a day. I didn't know if I'd be able to pull it off.
Well, Jerry, quite a year so far for Scott Sharp. It's 3 wins, 4 poles this year, and he is the points leader, and I'm sure he's extending his lead today.
Well, he had a 13-point lead going into it, and he will extend that over Jack Baldwin, his teammate, who finished his 2nd. Les Lindley is 3rd, Brasfield 4th, and Steve Petty, the rookie, another 5th-place finish, tying his best finish of the year. Let's take a look at our full field rundown here. 6 through 10, some pretty good runs back there. Bob Sobey finishing in 8th spot. Dorsey, Randy Ruhlman in 10th. He was the Rookie of the Year last year in this event, a Rising Star of the Year. As you look at the rest of these finishers here in this rundown, a good race today. Always an exciting race here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, actually, we had half of the race run with cautions, and that could have been the advantage for Scott Sharp and the tires.
Indeed, a lot of racing action here today, and Ron Fellows, who had that problem early in the race, finishing back in 26th spot. Jim Stevens, an impressive young man, 21 years of age. You heard Ned talk to him, his contact, and a tough break for Jim Durhog, 116 starts. Coming up next, Tennis Championship, the Thriftway, ATP Tennis at 4:30. Sports Center coming up at 6:30, and then baseball tonight at 7 p.m. live. The New York Mets versus the Chicago Cubs at 8 p.m. Once again, great racing action here from Watkins Glen, New York. For John Kernan in the pits, Ned Jarrett over in turn 5, Benny Parsons in turn 1, Dorsey Schrader in the pits. I'm Jerry Punch saying congratulations again to Scotty Sharp on win number 3 in the 1991 season, and so long from Watkins Glen.